direction, we're going to look at the use of vectors. In this case, we're going to look at dot product. When it's dot product, so we have dot product of we know we use this dot product in finding the angle between two or more vectors. So if you have goes in this direction, A, B goes in this direction, then obviously you can see that there's an angle in them. And so if you have two vectors and you want to find the angle within which they are operating, one that is so you have a vector A which is defined as in dimension as A1 or A1I plus A2J plus A3K, 3-dimension, B1I plus B2J plus B3K in the K direction. Then what we call product is dot is defined as this vector A1I plus A2J plus A3K dot the vectors B, the vector B, B1I plus B2J plus B3K. When dot product we deal with if you have the operate on the X, the component, the Z component. So the is defined as, if you take the first vector A, the component of the X axis is A1, and then the first component is B1, then A dot B A1 times B1, A1 times B1 plus A2 times B2, A2 times B2 plus the third component, which is A3 times B3. And you can see that the answer that we get is not a vector quantity, it's a scalar quantity. That is why sometimes we call the dot product as a scalar product. It's also called a scalar product. So it means that two vectors, if you find the dot product of two vectors, you surely get a quantity which is a scalar quantity. And so geometrically, this is the algebra of it. But geometrically, if you're talking of dot product of two vectors, then it means if you have a vector A dot vector B, geometrically is defined as the magnitude of vector A times magnitude of vector B times cosine of the angle between the two angles, the two vectors. This is how we can find the between two vectors. From here, we can see that cos theta is going to be given as A dot B, all divided by absolute value of A times absolute value of B. And so to get the angle theta, you have to find the cosine or cos inverse of the expression A dot B all divided by absolute value of A, absolute value of B. So that is how we are able to find the angle between two vectors. And so we can take, by way of an example, we can take a situation where we have two vectors A and B, where we have A to be I minus 3J plus 4K, and vector B is equal to 3I plus 4J minus 2k minus 2k. So to find, if we are out to find the angle between these two vectors, let's say find theta, the angle between vector A and B, then you need to use this. It means you have to find the dot product of A and B, find the magnitude of A and find the magnitude of B, which we can all find from the previous lecture. So in this case, our theta angle is going to be defined as cos inverse A dot B all over absolute value of A, absolute value of B. So quickly find A dot B. We know the value. So A dot B is I minus 3j plus 4k dot 3I plus 4j minus 2k minus 2k. So let's do it. 1 times 3 will give us 3. Then minus 3 times 4 will give us minus 12. Then 4 times minus 2 will give us minus 8. And so A dot B in this situation will give us that will give us minus 17, negative 17, because minus 20, negative 17. And so we also need to find the magnitude of A, which we all know it as magnitude of A as the square root of the square of each component. This is 1 squared plus minus 3 all squared plus 4 all squared. That will give a square root of 1 plus 9 plus 16. And that one will give us square root of 26. Right? And then magnitude of B will give a square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared plus minus 2 all squared. That will give a square root of 9 plus 16 plus 4. And that will give a square root of 29. And so we can always find the angle. So the angle is going to be A cos inverse of A dot B. We found A dot B to be negative 17. And then magnitude of A will give us square root of 26 times square root of 29. And then when we manipulate these figures in the calculator, we always arrive at the angle between vectors. And so to recap, dot products, we use dot products in vector calculus to find the angle between two vectors. And so to calculate the angle between two vectors, we use the geometric formula for finding the angle, and we are using it as the cos inverse of the dot product of the two vectors divided by the absolute value or the magnitude of each of the following vectors. And then when you manipulate it using the calculator, that gives us the angle. So on this note, we've come to the end of using the dot product to find the angle between two vectors. So thank you for your attention, and we shall continue and looking at other ways of finding the angle between two vectors. Thank you very much.